Let's study 10th standard ICSE Biology, Chapter 16, Pollution. First, let's understand what is waste. No, you studying this chapter is not a waste. Waste is any unwanted or undesired material or substance resulting from industrial, commercial, mining and agriculture operations and from community activities. So next time you look at waste, you should realize that its definition is so complicated. Now, waste can be of two types, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Example of biodegradable would be cow dung, bullshit, leaves, kitchen leftovers, etc. because they can be decomposed by the bacteria and fungi. Non-biodegradable waste, on the other hand, cannot be broken down by microorganisms. For example, plastics, metal cans, glass, electronic waste. So we should try to recycle the non-biodegradable waste. Plastic is non-biodegradable. It's a big problem. It takes thousands and thousands of years for it to be broken down. That means the plastic used during the Harappan civilization will start decomposing now. Pollution. Pollution is the addition of any such constituent to air, water and land which deteriorates or worsens the natural quality of the environment. And such a constituent is called a pollutant. Now let's see the types of pollution. There are 5 types: air, water, soil, radiation and noise pollution. I would say that there is a 6th type nowadays called knowledge pollution, because a lot of wrong knowledge is being spread by fake news and social media. Air pollution means degradation of the quality of air. It can be because of gaseous pollutants or particulate pollutants. Particulate pollutants, as a name suggests, it's a noun. Particulate is a noun. It includes small particles like dust, smoke, mining, stone drilling, etc. The dust which is raised because of these activities causes particulate pollution. Next, the sources of air pollution can be natural or artificial. Natural sources like volcanoes, dust storms and forest fires. They are beyond human control and they will continue even after human beings become extinct. Man-made sources, although I would say that sometimes even women may be the cause of such pollution. Vehicular, that is automobiles, industries, garbage, brick kilns where bricks are made, they cause a lot of air pollution as well. They are under our control and we should try to decrease at least the man-made air pollution. Let's talk about vehicular air pollution. You can see that a lot of polluting gases is being released by this car. These gases include carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, rubber particles from the friction between the tire and the road, even the dust from the road. All of these are raised in the air, causing pollution. So how do we control it? Well, use efficient engines, good quality fuels, lead-free petrol, and as much as possible we should use CNG, compressed natural gas, because it is less polluting compared to petrol. In fact, CNG has been made compulsory in many states for public vehicles like buses. Industrial air pollution. Many factories and industries release smoke, gases, particles. They also release SSPM, which is solid suspended particulate matter. And remember, smog is smoke plus fog, which is dangerous because it not only causes asthma and allergies, but it can also affect visibility. Flights can be cancelled, road accidents can happen if you're not able to see because of the smog. Next source of air pollution is burning garbage. Burning garbage is a quick way to get rid of it, but it's not wise to do this because when we burn it, the garbage gives out harmful gases. And the smoke also adds to particulate air pollution. Rather, the garbage should be segregated into wet waste and dry waste. The wet waste should be decomposed to form compost, and the dry waste can be recycled. And finally, brick kilns. Brick kilns, in Hindi we call it Eeto ke bhatte. It is used to make bricks. A lot of smoke and heat is given out. Next, water pollution. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. pollution and shortage of water, between them there is a link. So water pollution means any change in the water quality which makes it unsuitable for use by humans and by other living organisms. And the sources are 5 sources. First, household detergents. Excessive use of chemical detergents which then are drained away into the nearby water bodies causes water pollution. Next, sewage. Sewage is the liquid waste from domestic and commercial activities. So all the liquid waste from households and offices is called sewage, whereas such a liquid waste coming out of factories is called effluents. Now often the sewage is dumped into the lake or nearby river without any treatment, which makes the water body very polluted. For example, River Ganga is very polluted because there are so many households on its banks and people dump their waste directly into the river, and sometimes even dead bodies or the remains of the dead bodies are dumped into the river. If this would stop completely, if strictly people were asked not to dump anything and stay within their house for let's say a month, then the Ganga river would sparkle with fresh water from the Himalayas, just like any other river would. Industrial waste. Many industries and factories release their effluents directly into the sea. One example is fish processing industries, which release toxic wastes into the sea. Next, oil spills. They are accidental discharge of petroleum in oceans and estuaries, which is a water body. The problem with oil spill is that oil floats on water, it's immiscible in water, and the aquatic birds get covered with a layer of oil and they can't fly and they may even die. Even fishes may die. Finally, we have thermal pollution, which simply means that when hot water is released into the water body, the average temperature of water increases by 8 to 10 degrees centigrade. For example, the hot water released by nuclear power plants. Now, such an increase in temperature is dangerous for the aquatic animals. Fish may die. Next topic is soil pollution. Soil pollution is different from air and water pollution because it is quite local. It doesn't spread very quickly over a vast area. Nevertheless, this is also harmful for us. The sources are 5 again. First, industrial waste. Often polluting gases and polluted water are released by the industries, and apart from that some solid wastes are also released, and these wastes are simply dumped into the land. Wastes like metallic ash, fly ash. Fly ash probably is ash which can fly. This causes soil pollution. Next source is urban, commercial and domestic wastes. With increasing urbanization, the amount of waste produced in cities is increasing exponentially. And often what we do is we just dump it in the landfills. The sanitary landfills, which are just on the outskirts of a city, are places where huge amounts of wastes are dumped. They pile up to make hills. That is very dangerous in the long run. Rather, the municipality should handle the solid waste carefully. But we citizens have to initiate the movement that in every society, in every building, we should segregate the dry waste and the wet waste so the municipality can handle it in a more efficient manner. The next source of soil pollution is chemical fertilizers. Now, the danger of using chemical fertilizers is that over a long period of time, it gets washed away into the nearby water body. And these fertilizers are rich with nutrients like nitrates and phosphates. Because of these, bacteria and algae grow a lot in the lakes. And if bacteria and algae are abundant, they will consume all the oxygen in that lake. And they will even block sunlight from reaching the depths of the lake, resulting in the deaths of aquatic plants and animals. This process is called eutrophication. Next, biomedical waste. All the masks and the gloves and the protective wear of hospital staff. Also the instruments that they use like needles, syringes, dressings, discarded or expired medicines. All of them, if simply dumped like ordinary waste, can be hazardous. There should be a separate bin for biomedical waste, and such garbage should be treated separately from the normal domestic garbage. If it is simply mixed with the normal domestic garbage, then it can be dangerous because diseases can spread because of this biomedical waste. Next source of soil pollution is pesticides. For example, DDT, dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane. Such pesticides are used to keep the pests at bay so that the crops are not damaged. But then ultimately these pesticides will mix with the soil and cause soil pollution. These pesticides can kill even useful germs and useful insects, and they may even enter the food chain and enter our bodies and cause harm to us. The next type of pollution is radiation pollution. Radiations like X-rays, gamma rays can also be dangerous in large quantities. Let me teach you 3 examples. First of all, the X-rays, which are given out by various machines in the labs, at the airports, etc. In great quantity, X-ray can damage our chromosomes and genes. They can cause bone cancer, etc. So we should avoid them as much as possible. Second example is nuclear power plants. All the nuclear power plants are very useful in producing clean energy in abundance. But there is one risk involved. The nuclear wastes that they generate has to be disposed very carefully. Or if there is a nuclear disaster due to which the nuclear power plant leaks out the radiations, which happened on many occasions, for example in Chernobyl in Ukraine and in Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant in Japan, then the entire area has to be evacuated for many years. They have to avoid going in such areas because those radiations last for many years and they can cause cancer and other problems. Sometimes these radiations pass into the sea, the radioactive substances pass into the sea, and through the seafood it can enter the human body and cause hemorrhaging, that is internal bleeding, etc. Another example is that of radioactive material discarded by various labs and research institutions. One example is that many years ago in Delhi, cobalt-60, that is a radioactive waste, was simply disposed carelessly. It reached the scrap dealers, and the scrap dealers just did not know what it was and how dangerous it was, and this way it got many people exposed to the radiations and then they suffered. This uncle here seems to be trying to show off his latest Nike shoes. Next topic is noise pollution. Noise is any unpleasant, loud, undesired sound interfering with one's hearing and concentration. You will say that what is noise is a subjective term. It depends from people to people. For example, most people would say that K-pop is noise, but some may disagree. But all of us would agree that very loud sound, for example near the landing of jet aircrafts and automobiles honking continuously as if they feel that by honking the cars ahead would simply disappear. This adds to the noise pollution, and there are some harmful effects of noise pollution. It interferes in communication, interrupts our concentration and disturbs peace of mind. It lowers our efficiency of work, disturbs sleep, and leads to nervous irritability. A sudden loud sound can even damage the eardrum and cause deafness. But what are the measures to minimize noise pollution? Prohibit blowing of horns. Restrict the use of loudspeakers, especially during night. There should be strict rules implemented about late night parties and functions. We should plant trees because trees absorb a lot of the noise, and we should not burn firecrackers. Now let's study the effects of various types of pollution. First of all, the effect on climate and environment. Acid rain. When gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide mix with the rainwater and fall down, the rain's pH becomes less because of the carbonic acid, sulfurous acid, nitric acid falling down with the rain, and this is called acid rain. Acid rain can damage the vegetation, pollute the soil, corrode the building materials and paints, affect ancient monuments and statues. Even aquatic life is affected because the acidity of the water bodies increases. The next effect is the greenhouse effect and global warming. Now we know that the radiations from the sun may have short wavelength infrared rays, which is absorbed by the earth, and mostly at night they are given out in the form of long wavelength infrared rays, also called heat rays. But the carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, and other such greenhouse gases block these long wavelength infrared radiations from escaping the earth. So the heat is trapped in the earth's atmosphere, which is good. It keeps the earth's average temperature warm enough for life to survive as it is. So it acts like a greenhouse, which is a glass house used by agriculturists. But too much of carbon dioxide being released by industries, vehicles, etc. increases the greenhouse effect, and now the temperature is increasing rapidly, which is called global warming. It is predicted that if the global warming continues at this rate, and in the next few decades, even if the temperature rises by a few degrees Celsius, the average temperature of the earth increases, then the snow caps will melt on the various mountains, the polar ice will melt, and that will cause large scale flooding. All the coastal areas of the world will get submerged in water. Climate will change. Food production in agricultural fields will decline. So we should stop global warming by decreasing pollution, by decreasing our materialism, by living a simpler life. Next, ozone layer depletion. If we use CFCs, that is chlorofluorocarbons, in refrigerators, etc., air conditioners, then the CFCs can destroy the ozone layer of the atmosphere. The ozone layer is very important because ozone blocks the UV rays from the sun. But with the hole in the ozone layer, the UV rays will be able to reach us, and over a period of time it can cause skin rashes and even skin cancer. It can also reduce the productivity of seas and forests. CFCs have been banned, so the ozone layer is healing now, and we should continue looking at ways to protect our ozone layer. The International Ozone Day is celebrated on September 17. Now let's understand the effects of pollution on human health. As already discussed, there are many diseases which can be caused, like lung cancer, bronchitis, asthma. Water pollution can cause diseases like cholera, jaundice, typhoid. Now let's talk about controlling the pollution. There are various measures that we can take. We should use unleaded petrol, CNG. We should switch off the automobile engines at red traffic lights. That is in case you are following the traffic lights in that case. We should install tall chimneys so that the waste does not get accumulated in the nearby area. It goes into the higher layers and gets diluted. In fact, we should have electrostatic precipitators in the chimneys which will attract the dust particles and the smoke, so they will not be released into the atmosphere. Industrial effluents should be treated before being discharged into water bodies, and any factory not doing this should be fined. There should be sewage treatment plants. The municipality usually has this before dumping the sewage into the water bodies. In villages, we can have septic tanks. So there underground, they have dug a huge septic tank where all the domestic waste is accumulated and gets decomposed and mixes with the soil. We should use more of compost, which is organic matter, better than chemical fertilizers because it does not have any harmful chemicals. And also we should use herbal pesticides as much as possible rather than chemical pesticides. We should try to recycle plastic, metal and glass as much as possible instead of just burning them. It should be a last resort only. And of course we should plant more trees because they reduce noise pollution, they prevent soil erosion, they improve the air quality because they decrease the carbon dioxide content in the air. Next topic is vehicular standards. The Euro-Bharat norms are a set of guidelines which the government releases every now and then. So according to the norms, all the industries related to vehicles have to follow certain rules. So currently BS4 is being followed. BS means Bharat stage, okay? It does not mean bullshit. So soon India will progress to BS5, BS6, BS7. We are trying to make our air cleaner and cleaner by getting stricter with the industries related to vehicles. Now, our norms are based on European norms. In Europe, also, they have Euro 4, 5, 6, respectively. So, the rules are something to do with the efficiency of the engines that they are manufacturing or the efficiency of the fuels which are being used. If any industry or person doesn't follow these rules, they can be fined or their license can be taken away. In India, we have the Central Pollution Control Board, that is a CPCB, which keeps an eye on these standards and their implementation. Finally, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that is Clean India movement started by the government in 2014. The aim is to make India clean, which will be quite a task. So it's difficult to predict how many years or decades it will take to make India clean. But the objective is to keep the streets and roads clean, to eliminate open defecation by building more toilets. India has a huge shortage of toilets, especially in rural areas. So people ingest in the open. That should be stopped. And also, there should be efficient management of solid and liquid wastes. In rural areas and urban areas, the respective authorities should collaborate with the residences and the commercial establishments to find means and ways to reduce pollution. Plastic pollution is the greatest threat in modern urban areas. It is a controversy because we can't live without it, but it is a menace as well because of its non-biodegradable nature. Plastic takes 10,000 years to decompose. So the plastic bottles used by Krishna 10,000 years ago will start decomposing now. Single-use or disposable plastics have been banned in India now, but that hasn't really reduced the problem. The issue is that plastic chokes up the landfills, the drains, the rivers. They're ingested by marine animals and even cows. And some of the toxins in them might enter the soil and enter the food chain. So the best way to reduce plastic menace is observe the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. For example, you can reduce consumption. You can reduce the number of hours you spend on your mobile phone for entertainment purposes. However, there are some limitations. I cannot always recycle the question papers of other batches. Next, carry your own refillable water bottle. Avoid using disposable cutlery and straws. Use your own reusable fabric bag and do not ask for carry bags made of plastic when you go shopping or when you buy vegetables and groceries. Try to give plastic containers and other such items to your nearby scrap dealer for recycling. So now mention in the comments, how do you plan to reduce your carbon footprint? Hi students, this is AJ sir. If you like this video, press the like button. If you would like to enroll for my online test series or online lectures, email me or message me on Instagram. Check the description for more information.